Let's be honest, a lot of these budget phones out here, they're kind of trash. Most of them you have to, so many sacrifices, not a good amount of balance in regards to what you can offer. Today we're talking about Huawei's Honor 7X. It's actually been out for a while. It's been out since maybe late last year, but most recently got updated to Android 8.0 Oreo. It retails for $200, and we're gonna let you know if this is a contender for a good budget Android device. Got a brushed aluminum body, chamfered edges, antenna bands. This time got micro USB port, bottom firing speaker, and a headphone jack. So with the price point, don't expect any water resistance here, especially if the View 10 didn't have it. You do have a large screen for its class with a 5.9-inch LCD panel, 18.9 aspect ratio, and a 2160 by 1080 resolution. Visuals that come off the screen are better than you expect. Great combination of good colors, blacks, viewing angles, and being a slightly higher resolution than standard 1080p. This is nice. And then you also have a lightning fast fingerprint scanner on the rear, which is always good to have. Now, this doesn't offer the high-end Kirin processor that the Mate 10 Pro has, but you do get a mid-range version of that with the Kirin 659. Now, of course, it's not as lightning fast. It does get sluggish every once in a blue. However, it's good enough to handle your everyday tasks without buckling. Other than that, you got 3 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, expandable via micro SD. I think if this had a 4 gigs of RAM, I think the international version does. US version is 3. If this had that 4 gigs of RAM, this would probably perform a lot smoother. Underneath, keeping everything powered, is a 3,340 milliamp battery. Now, on paper, that may not sound too great, but thanks to the right mesh of internals, I got closer to 18 hours with heavy to medium usage on a single charge. So instead of having one monochrome, one color, or one standard, one wide angle, they switch things up this time. So this time you have f2.2 16 megapixel lens on one side, phase detection autofocus, and a 2 megapixel on the other side. Now you say 2 megapixels, like, why do they have that? Now this is to contribute to depth sensing and portrait mode. So it's literally just there for those features. You got a decent amount of detail present and good color reproduction and bright to decent lighting. Drop down to low light situations, and it can go from acceptable or bad depending on the situation. Lacking any optical image stabilization and being armed with a higher aperture, there are definitely some noticeable noise in many of the photos. Same results go for the 8 megapixel selfie camera in the front, but other phones in this price point doesn't come close. So on the software side, the 7X originally shipped with EMUI 5.1 and Android 7.0 Nougat. But back at the end of April, it got updated to EMUI 8 and Android 8. So Oreo adds picture-in-picture support for apps like Maps, YouTube, and then it's Project Treble for better battery life. But there are actual benefits present, like a less congested settings menu, addition to a native screen recorder option, to name a few. So I can only imagine for those of you who've had the phone before and after the update, it's like night and day. We put it all together, the Honor 7X shapes up to be a better overall package than most other budget phones. Now, since we haven't tested them all, we haven't tested budget phones in a while, I wouldn't necessarily call it the king, but I definitely would put this on the pedestal in regards to a competitor to be the king of budget Android phones. So let us know if you have any other questions about the 7X. If you have one, let us know how it's been treating you. Sound off below in the comments. We can talk about it there. Thanks for watching. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate it, and see you in the next video. Peace.